Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to do a special selection, and just like yesterday, today's special selection will be for the band Big Big Train. Today's special selection comes in from Will. It says, my request is Atlantic Cable by Big Big Train off of the album Common Ground. The recent passing of David Longdon is devastating to say the least, and he was by far my favorite musician. Lyrics and context of the song are pretty self-explanatory. Thanks. So we're going to be looking at some more Big Big Train today. Atlantic Cable. I took a quick peek at the lyrics, given that they were brought up in the request, and overall it seems to just be a song about connecting with other people around the world to join forces, since, the album is called Common Grounds, which is a euphemism for people who maybe have the same mindset or something, but it also works in the context of, as the album art suggests, the earth. We all live on a common ground. So we should be able to help each other and see from each other's perspective and come together as one. That's kind of the vibe I was getting from the lyrics. So let's dive into the song and see what's going on here. Yeah, that nice little trill there. Ooh. So we're in 7/8. Got a bit of a funkiness to it as well. Ooh, yeah. And we moved to like a 6/4 right here. Dude, that bass tone sitting underneath everything, just real meaty. It's those little embellishments that's very Big Big Train to me. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but it isn't overwhelming. Cut it down to about a half time, but push it to 4/4. Those little triplet ideas in the drums. Yeah, real big fermata right there. Yeah, and we revisit this flute and piano idea from the intro. Really nice volume dynamics as well.
10 days across the water, swift as the steamers are. 10 days of storms and danger, 2,000 fathoms and more.
Gotta have those vocal harmonies.
Soundings of depth are taken, our lines sent far below.
I love those syncopated bass hits, especially contrasting the gorgeous melodic runs that are sitting behind the vocals.
And so it seems power is knowledge and time is an object to
Yes, I love the power here.
distance, bring all together, all undivided, let mankind be as one. Hard fought, new ground can be lost. Signals can
Yeah.
fade away. High seas and tempest breakers, lost to the depths and the void. And so it seems power is knowledge and time is an object to close the distance, bring all
Yeah, I really like how the backing vocals completed that sentence.
let mankind be as one.
Yeah, I like how we just had that subtle, isolated instrument, and it kind of showed how just alone and isolated having one voice is after we have so many layered sections, and showing the power in everybody coming together to pull their voices together for to make a full song. Those piano runs. So we've moved to a 5/4 here. And we're doing groups of 3 and then 2, which gives the bar a feeling of rushing towards the ends.
The shape of the Great Eastern takes form in the mist. All that was lost is found. Back from the deep.
Yeah, very powerful moment here. Yeah, really nice way to introduce this section, bringing it in about 2 or 3 beats prior. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, dude, that bass with that fuzzy organ sounds, that is a beautiful combination of timbres. Yeah, and there's some really awesome rhythmic stuff going on here too, the way different instruments are playing off of each other. Bringing that funk back. I think this is the hardest rock I've heard from them. Completely unexpected shred. We're hitting some real proggy ideas right here. Yes. Interesting little idea there. Very larger than life, very theatric right here. Interesting, instead of going up to the high note to sort of punctuate that section, they brought it back down for where are we going?
We make new common ground. wisdom of strangers, of those left behind. We look up at the same stars, see further as one.
I really like how they decided to focus on the vocals for this final section. Yeah, like the final pieces of lyric of vocals of the song were focused on rather than any of the music elements. We had that basic piano line behind it, but that's really it. I think it really ties together this idea of humankind coming together as a race, since we all share a planet, and really having, you know, their 4 or 5 vocalists being the spotlight at the final moment of the song. That's just gorgeous. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna retread a lot of ground from yesterday's Big Train reaction, but there's actually a lot of new stuff in here I want to talk about too, especially there in that I don't know, the last fifth of the song. Maybe we entered into some stuff that I don't think I've heard from them before. They kind of went into a different direction than what I've heard from them in the past. And I'm starting to piece together some new ideas about Big Train that are from the very beginning. The first time I heard them, they had this element to them, and I couldn't place it. And it continues to kind of just sit in my mind. You know, what does Big Train remind me of? And I think I finally figured it out. It's in those moments when, for instance, the first time the song went to 4/4, and David comes in and starts singing. It reminds me so much of praise bands in youth groups. Some of these more modern churches that go, instead of doing hymns where everybody joins in, they sort of have a band up by the pastor, and the types of chord changes that they utilize and the tones and sounds that they aim for in those sections remind me so much of that sort of setting. It's very strange. There's almost to me a spiritual element to Big Train, and I think it's very closely tied to the tones and chord progressions that they choose for some of their sections. Now, it isn't all of them. Of course, like I mentioned, they kind of went to a prog rock kind of feel there at the end. But for the sections that I think are the warmest, the most comfortable sections, at least how I hear them, usually when they enter into a more of a 4/4, the music kind of gets restrained a little bit and aims for atmosphere to sit around David singing. Especially even some of the more powerful sections, like the chorus of this one, when it gets larger than life, it feels very spiritual. And I'm trying. While I was listening to that, I was slowly applying it to some of the stuff we've checked out in the past, like yesterday's yard. What is that? The Underfall Yard. And it. I mean, yeah, it works. That's kind of exactly the feeling I get when I listen to this group. Now, interestingly, we also had our Patreon live stream yesterday, which I will try to get up this week, possibly next week at the latest. I know I'm a little behind on releasing those to the public, but we listened to two Big Train tracks, two Big Train songs during not yesterday, it was Sunday's live stream, and I picked up on something else that I started to hear here as well, and that is sort of a bluegrassy country kind of idea. It's not country music. They're definitely, I wouldn't say that it's a strong bluegrass element either, but it's this countryside kind of feeling that they seem to explore often. I think it's just part of this warm, comfortable kind of sound. Just kind of moves in with that spiritual element and intertwines with it, and then gets real messy when we introduce some of the rock and jazz and classical ideas. There's certainly a lot of inspirations in Big Big Train's sound. But to me, it's really cool that I can pick out these little, inspirations. And I'm like, yeah, this feels a little bit like this, feels a little bit like this. But it all comes together and it's just definitively Big Big Train. I don't think I could really classify them under anything else. I think just calling them prog rock under the widest umbrella is the best thing I can do as far as specifying what kind of music they play. But there's so many little pieces from everything. And it's really cool. I've always referred to them, I think, as proggy rock. I think even one video I said it was prog rock that an older generation could appreciate. I think they just kind of have that air to them, where they're not going all exceptionally hard into the rock element. They kind of sit within what I now call that sort of spiritual praise band kind of idea. It's just very, what's the word? Uh, Dang. Inoffensive. That's the word. I don't think there's anything in here that would really make anybody upset. There, some people I could see might be bored by it if it's just not their type of music. It definitely does not go hard in, in many ways. If you're wanting more of an industrial or techno or metal kind of sound, if that's your preferred music, I can totally understand that this might be a little underwhelming for you. But I don't think anybody would find this offensive in any way. And then that tied into just a lot of the beauty that they put into their music. I really stand by the idea that it's prog rock for maybe an older generation who doesn't want all of the rock elements of that prog rock kind of sound. But they never really hit a prog rock sound to me up until that ending there, or maybe not the ending, but I guess maybe like 4 or 5 minutes to go. We had some shredding guitar solos. We had some really interesting rhythmic ideas. We had some playful ideas like the da-dun, dee-da-dee-dun, ba-dum, ba-da-ba-dum. Just really getting playful with some of that. It reminds me a lot of some of the prog stuff from the 70s. The tone of it, the atmosphere of it, the playfulness and experimentation of it. Usually when I refer to Big Big Train as prog rock, it's not so much the experimentation, it's the inspiration of the experimentation of that era. I don't really hear much experimentation going on with Big Big Train other than pulling in all these inspirations and tying them together. But all the songs that I've heard, they have a very key sound to them. I would say that they're not doing too much to tweak what that sound is, and kind of what their sonic identity is. So it's not so much the experimentation of prog rock, it's the sound of it, or the ideas. But it was very, very cool to hear them go into more of a yes kind of feeling there at the end, going into that fuzzier guitar sound, putting some shred in there, getting real playful and experimental with some of the stuff. Yeah, that was unexpected for Big Big Train from my limited experience with them, and I quite enjoyed that. Um, but yeah, just overall, it's still just a lot of really strong ideas that I associate with the band. This whole song has beautiful melodic lines, fantastic transitions. It takes you on a journey. Like I mentioned yesterday, I called them sonic painters or sound painters or something like that. 100%. These guys, with their music and the emotion in the vocal delivery, can paint a picture and they can take me on a journey even if I don't know what the lyrics are. I can feel exactly what they want me to. They are masters at creating and injecting that emotion into the music. And then, of course, uh, strong bass presence, really nice bass work, and the vocal harmonies that are all throughout this track, uh, utilizing both call and response, harmonies, multiple melodic lines, counterpoint. Yeah, it's just, this is everything I expect out of a Big Big Train song, and it is, as usual, just done, on the 11th degree. That is a terrible phrase. I meant to say it's done at 11. On a scale of 1 to 10, they execute things at 11. I said the 11th degree. Um, yeah, it's done exceptionally well. And this is exactly what I expect from Big Big Train. I do like, I kind of wish, I probably should go back and check out the lyrics to the Underfall Yard. I'm never going to remember. Underfall is a word I'm not, it just is not a natural word for me to remember. I should probably go back and check out the lyrics to that and see maybe if there's any thematic things going on in the music. Um, because I don't know if there's always going to be thematic connections for them, because, at least in my limited exposure, again, Big Big Train has a specific sound. They're not a band who adapts the sound to the song's needs as much as they are just a band that has a sound and tends to create songs that all kind of vaguely have similar emotions to them. Um, and yeah, once again, here there's this bittersweetness, sort of melancholy aspect tied in with these moments of power and almost command. The chorus says, "And so it seems that power is knowledge, and time is an object to overcome. Close the distance, bring all together, a world undivided, let mankind be as one." It is a directive. It is the music is at its most powerful, especially the second time this comes around. Um, Maybe the third time. It might have been halfway through the song when we returned back to this after, one of their extended instrumental sections. Um, and, it's just larger than life music, super wide, lots of, the emotion is usually some sort of power or grandness. And, David is saying, look, power is knowledge. You need to wisen up. And the only way to wisen up is to connect with people. You need to see beyond your horizons. You need to close that distance with people, and come together to create, an undivided world. And I love how, moments of this song are bittersweet. They're melancholy. It's happy. He says something about the world is growing smaller. New wire sings, new world meets old, continents are joined together with the thrill of the line. I interpret that as maybe phone lines, or the internet is bringing us together, all sorts of technology that is making the world smaller. So there's definitely some joy in that. But there's also moments that there's like an acknowledgement that it's difficult to bring this world together, to kind of make us one mankind, as he states. Um, and so, yeah, a lot of this song has these bittersweet elements to it, very complex emotions of, the joys and also the sorrows of modern living on Earth. But I love how all of that gets swept away to bring the chorus in, and it's a directive. There is power, there is meaning behind it. It is not a possibility. It's sort of not even a request. It is a demand to close the distance and bring us all together. And I love how the music reflects that. I need to, as usual with a lot of this stuff, especially Big Big Train, they have super dense songs. It almost requires multiple listens. I definitely need to come back in and check this out, especially since this lyrical breakdown here, not a breakdown, it's just the lyrics. um, the song's divided into 5 parts with names. Part 1 is called Worlds Apart. It's an instrumental section. Part 2 is called Wayfinders, and it contains the first set of verse chorus. Part 3 is called Great Eastern, and that is a completely separate section, lyrically. Part 4 is an instrumental called Lightning Through Deep Waters, and Part 5 is the sound of quiet voices, which is that outro that I mentioned really enjoying because they brought this concept of unity together by focusing entirely on voices with very minimal instrumental background to it. Oh dang! So the last lines here, we make new common ground, bringing in the album title, with light and sound. We close the distance and open minds. Hear the quiet words, the wisdom of strangers, of those left behind. We look up at the stars and see further as one. That yeah, that hits a bit hard, especially with David's passing. The hearing the quiet words, the wisdom of strangers, of those left behind. David is leaving these words in these lyrics for us now that he, has passed on, and yeah, yeah, like I said, that that hits a little bit harder now. Um, but yeah, I mean, just like usual, they're just big train kills it. They do. They have a very unique sound for them, and it is just they know how to mix bombast with quieter sections, and just overall the idea of contrast. I think their works are really resonant with that idea, whether it's sparse versus large, quiet versus loud. Their quiet sections are actually quiet. I think that's one of the things I absolutely love about it. There is about a 20 dB difference between the loudest and quietest section that I saw when I was checking out the volume while the song was going on. They know that quiet sections should actually be quiet, not just feel quiet. And I think it really adds to the emphasis of some of those sections. I even mentioned that there was one moment in the very middle of the song where it was one instrument. I think there might have been a chord or a note being played under it. And it was basically done back to back with a very large section. And I mentioned how that could be read as showcasing how weak we are as a single voice, but how powerful we can be when we come together. It's just, yeah, they know how to use all of their tools, and their like I said, their execution is just at 11. It's just always done so perfectly, so precisely. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's just phenomenal. So those are my thoughts on Big Train's Atlantic Cable. That's where you guys come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this one or not. Anything that stuck out to you. If you have any extra information about some of the thematic ideas, maybe I'm on the right track or maybe I completely missed it, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. I'm always open to learn about things as well. Above the comments, in the description box, there's a link for Linktree, which will take you to this menu right here. It has everything related to the channel. If you would like to join the Discord community, support the channel through Patreon, follow me on Twitter, buy some merch, email me, whatever. It's all there. Above the description box, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as usual. We'll be looking at another Lush Productions and be doing another special selection. Until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.